Housing, credit, jobs, those are just three of the areas survivors of sexual assault and trafficking will now have protections under starting October 1st. For advocates, it's been a long time coming, but they're glad it's happening now. Starting October 1st, sexual assault and human trafficking survivors in Connecticut will be recognized as a protected class under state anti-discrimination law.
Prior to the passage of this recent legislation, it was only victims of domestic violence that had those protections.
That means for the first time, these survivors will have legal protection against being denied housing, employment, or even credit because of what they've survived.
So for many survivors, it takes, some time to get back to a sense of normalcy if that's possible. And so in that time in between, this allows survivors to do everything they need to take care of themselves, but to ensure that they have some sense of security, that they won't lose things like jobs or other things like that, in the meantime, as they again heal and seek justice.
The timing is crucial. Just this week, Hartford police announced the arrest of 7 men in connection with a months-long trafficking investigation of 3 victims. So Beth Hamilton, the executive director of the Connecticut Alliance to End Sexual Violence, says this law couldn't come at a more urgent time.
Interestingly, what we've seen overall is that violent crimes are down with the exception of sexual violence.
While that number is rising, so is the support for survivors. This law doesn't just protect them, but also requires communities and workplaces to step up.
It also requires employers with 3 or more employees to post notifications at their places of business to ensure that survivors have access to victim services. So again, the great thing about the legislation is not just that it affords those protections for survivors, but the whole community.
The Connecticut Regionalized Human Trafficking Task Force says just from 2022 to 2024, they've seen a 200% increase in the number of human trafficking investigations in the state. In Hartford, Annette Montgomery, Fox 61.
Another law to protect sexual assault survivors will also go into effect October 1st, and this one deals with sexual assault kits. Currently under Connecticut state law, survivors have 2 options for having their assault kits collected. 1, file a police report and then it is sent to a lab, or 2, decide not to file a police report and the kit and the DNA it contains is never tested. Well, now a third pathway will open up, one Beth Hamilton, the executive director for the Connecticut Alliance to End Sexual Violence, calls a win for the state.
There's now an identified pathway, meaning that I don't have to report to police, but I can still choose to have that kit tested. And so we're really excited that what this legislation does, it allows survivors to decide when, how, and if they want to interact with law enforcement, but it doesn't prevent them from getting information about a crime that was committed against them.
Now, Hamilton says for some survivors, they still need time, space, and the ability to think through if and when is the right time to report their sexual assault to police. Hamilton also added that here in Connecticut, survivors are able to track their sexual assault kits once they are collected, so they can see when it arrives at the lab and when it's tested and if there is a DNA match to a suspect.